The Rivals of Aether team did an in-depth look at Olympia as well as a quick Q&A for us this Thursday to help us understand what's coming to the game in the future. There's lots of exciting stuff to go over, so let's get right into it. Welcome to Recap of Aether. I'm your host, both players, and first things first, let's start off with the Olympia Q&A. So all of Olympia's normals are basically the same as Rivals of Aether 1. If you want me to talk about it further, you can actually check out the first video that I talked about Olympia right here. I'll link it into the description below. Some of her stats have been slightly adjusted. She is a bit lighter and falls faster than Rivals 1. And real quick, this is how Olympia's crystallization works. So when you are crystallized, you are in that crystal for the whole duration of hit stun. Once you are out of hit stun, the crystal will explode and a hitbox activates to send you upward. There is, however, a max time you can be in crystal. So just as an example, these numbers aren't correct, but if you were supposed to be in hit stun for 2 seconds and the max time for the crystal is 1 second, the crystal will explode before the entire duration of hit stun. The crystal will also explode if you hit the floor. Because the way the crystal explosion works, a hitbox activates the moment the explosion happens. And from what I gather from what Dan was saying, it seems like he was saying that the explosion makes it so that instead of being able to tech on the floor, you will pop up. But because there's a hitbox that goes that way, you can wall tech it. Now here's how these specials work. With your neutral special, you can activate your gem and have the gem field out. So in this gem field, you can either press special again to activate the field, and if your opponent is within that field, they will become crystallized. Alternatively, you can press attack and special to do a dash. This is the same exact input as Maple's tether. So when you do that input, you will dash from wherever you are in the field towards the gem in the center. This dash also has a hitbox on it, so if your opponent isn't spacing correctly, you can combo out of it. So side special is brand new from Rivals 1. It is a command grab, and this is a true command grab. They do mention that it can grab through shields. Once you grab an opponent, you can actually choose how far to send the grab. If you hold back, you won't fly as far, but if you hit forward, you will fly super far. You can also use this command grab to grab the gem. And like grabbing players, you can choose how far you can go, and once you touch the floor, a giant explosion will happen, and whoever's in this range will get crystallized. Here's a hitbox visualization. It's pretty big. It's pretty wide. It has a bit more forward range than behind, but regardless, it'll still very much cover both sides. The counterplay is that it is very telegraphed, and this action is parryable. So if you see someone try to side special the crystal, you can react to it and parry. Alternatively, you can't just jump away because the explosion is closer to the floor.
One more bonus thing about grabbing the crystal is that if there's no floor, eventually Olympia will throw it. This is very situational and it can help with some edge guards, but I think it's mostly for style points.
Down special has also been slightly changed. It still maintains its one-hit armor, so when you activate it, you can tank one hit. Multi-hits can counter this. And when you release the full hit, you will crystallize whoever gets hit. The one thing that's changed is that you can do two versions of cancels. You can either cancel down special into an attack using the attack or special button, and this does a quick little jab, and in the air it does a really interesting momentum shift. So if an opponent isn't ready, you can really catch them off guard. The other way to cancel is to cancel into a dash using the shield input. This is the same exact way it worked in Rivals 1. You just simply cancel the down special animation with a shield and you will be able to dash forward or backwards. The other thing that has been confirmed is that the ledge special can be charged. You can just press it to have a short burst or hold and charge it to run across the entire stage. And because of how it works, you can get some follow-ups from it. Dan didn't show it off, so I still don't know if this ledge special can be jump canceled in the gem field. I think the fact that he doesn't showcase it means that it isn't possible, but I could be proven wrong. And that's basically it for everything new that's been confirmed. Everything else we can kind of parse from the original trailer, but it's really nice of them to showcase the specifics. Now the next section of the video is the Q&A. If you want to have the full Q&A, you can definitely check out the video yourself, but I'm going to very quickly go over everything that was asked and the answers they gave. Huge shout outs to Sneaky McNibbits on Reddit for summarizing the entire thing. I was going to do it myself, but I saw that someone posted a summary, so I'll basically be using that. Will we see Olympia's costumes anytime soon? Yes, in the coming weeks, they will be posting some costumes on social media. How do devs feel about the modding scene? They really love it. Currently, they aren't doing too much to support it right now because they want to make sure the workshop integration is better, but they really love the passion that the modders have. What is the new rank mode going to be like? Firstly, the new rank mode will start with a reset. You won't go straight from 0, but using your previous rank and new placement matches, it will calculate a new rank for you. And the idea is that it will be seasonal. With each season, it will have a new reset. They mentioned that each season will be about 3 months, but of course this isn't anything final and it will change as the game evolves. They plan to keep the previous leaderboards for posterity. Currently, they are not planning to do character-specific ranks. They say hopefully with the semi-frequent resets, you can use those as opportunities to try new characters. So at the end of the season, since your rank is going to be reset, you can now try a different character and see how far you can go with that one. The reason they aren't planning character-specific ranks is because they believe counterpicking to be a core experience in the platform fighting genre, and they don't really want to remove that.
So I'm just gonna interject an opinion here.
I'm not really sure about this reasoning. I understand not wanting to gate any kind of counterpicking because counterpicking is important, but I also don't think people counterpick that often. They do mention never say never though. They want to be flexible with ranked, so if the future calls for different systems, they are open to implement changes. Dan says he liked Rivals 1 ranked, but says it's not perfect. If they decide to bring it back, he wants to make a lot of improvements. Dan mentions that they are likely shifting around the ranked brackets. I'm assuming shifting at what point you get to what rank, and they want to add something above Masters, possibly like a Grand Masters, so that the top echelon players can be divided even further. They also want to include ranked rewards, like getting something for finishing placement matches, or maybe finishing a season on a certain rank, etc, etc. Will we see the new character themes in the game, like Loxodon and Olympia's theme? Yes, it is on the to-do list. What's the pipeline looking like for tutorials? Intermediate tutorials are on the way, they're targeting spring or summer, and they have some ideas of turning some of the lessons into trials or mini-games for you to practice. How will you address the more casual audience for Rivals? The main two ways they want to address the casual audience is through Workshop and Story Mode. Workshop is actually likely to come out first because it would require a less dedicated team, and because of that it would be easier to implement. Dan mentions that when they had a story mode team, it was 5 people dedicated to that mode, and it would take a lot of resources because they would need new designers for levels, for characters, for enemies, for environments, and it really adds up. Another way they want to help the casual audience is to streamline casual mode. Instead of having separate queues, there is discussion about fusing all of them into one queue with one big bonus, so there's a higher chance of 2v2 and free-for-all modes being played. Are there any plans to implement an API? They'd like to, but not right now. There's too much other work to make it a priority. What is your balance philosophy with patches? How do you determine what to change? So the core philosophy right now is to make sure certain moves and playstyles aren't over-centralizing. That's the main objective. As an example, in the last patch, they noticed that Arcane's kit over-centralizes Nair as an option. So in order to discourage that, they nerfed Nair and gave Arcane other options, like making Empowered side special not go into freefall. They do look at tournament results and rank results for balance though. Dan also mentions that the meta is actively changing, and that they have their own internal team tier lists, which is why certain nerfs and buffs may seem off at first. An example they gave was Zetterburn's fair buff. They believe while Zetterburn was strong in the beginning of the game, and arguably is still strong now, is getting weaker as the meta progresses, both because people are able to understand Zetterburn more and are better at counterplay, so they are trying to adjust for that. In terms of character balance, they do mention that something that they strive for is to make sure every character is solo viable. Though personally, I do find this point a little bit funny because if that's the case, then I don't think they should be too concerned about the counterpicking meta for ranked, because I do think most people stick to their main when playing ranked as well as competitively. Because even top players, I've noticed when watching the game, stick with their main for the most part. The only times I've seen people switch off is when they are kind of desperate for options. Dan mentions that big patches that hit multiple characters will likely slow down, or at least they want to slow it down, but patches that tweak certain things will always happen. Dan wants to mention that he is currently more concerned about how the core mechanics feel to play to every player rather than the character balance. He notes the fact that everyone has different characters to complain about, which is testament to how not as important it is to adjust character balance, since no one can really agree who's the problem. Will you respond to null boards more frequently? The team says they want to, but they are too spread out to do so effectively. They are reading them though. Dan just feels it is a bit difficult to respond rapidly because he wants to make sure the wording is correct and accurate. What are you basing character release order on? They have a general guideline for releases, like the approximately too old, too new thing, but these guidelines are not rigid. Just because there are no more slots in the fire section on the character select screen doesn't mean they can't just update the UI to include more. Not to say that this will happen, but just to say that that's not out of the picture. Truthfully, element balance is not the priority. What is priority is mostly what moveset the devs are excited by, and what roles, archetypes, and playstyles the characters will fill, and how easy/difficult the characters would be to learn. The current set of characters were scheduled as far back as 2020, so nothing currently is necessarily affecting the release schedule. Dan and Edalis mention Lorena specifically, and confirms that she is coming in 2026. And finally, why did you do the Absa fans dirty? Dan says because of the live element of Olympia's release, he wanted to have some fun and keep the people guessing. He does feel bad that the Absa fans feel scorned by the bait and switch, and wants to let people know that he does like Absa. Dan mentions that the fact that Absa fans were disappointed is a good sign, because it means that people are really invested in these characters and are looking forward to them returning. And he does 100% confirm that Absa will return. Alright, next, for Steam's spring sale, Rivals of Aether has its biggest sale yet, which is 30% off. That's nearly $10 off from this game. So if you were on the fence, this is now the time to get it. 20 bucks for maybe the best platform fighter out there and free DLC for life is an incredible deal. And if you have friends who are iffy, go let them know that the spring sale is happening and maybe they'll get it. The more people who play means the healthier the game will be. Next is the results of the Hunger Games last week. So in first place was Marlon. Then second is Zeus the Goose, third is Ion, fourth is Beastly, fifth is Lucio, 5 is Acorn, 7 is Strikey the Beast, and 7 Cheesy Potato. I won't lie, this is quite the disgusting top 8. And disgusting as in ew. Look at all these 2 Crags and 3 Crags and 3 Zetterburns? My god, that is gross to say the least. Which is funny because all these players are really fun to watch, so I'm not like actually complaining, but I just find it funny that currently these are what's centralizing the meta. Also, huge shoutouts to Zeus the Goose. I love this comment. Finally, more lovely content. I don't know why that made me laugh so much when I first saw it. Well, thank you. Thank you for appreciating the lovely content. Jotan here showcases the detailed top 64, so all the people and characters that top 64 has played. I mean, the lower we go, the more diverse the character roster seems to be, which is a lot of fun. Speaking of the tournament, because Marlon won, HBox actually asked him to make a quick tier list, and this is currently Marlon's tier list, which is wild. This is a wild tier list, I'm not going to lie. The 2 things I want to specifically mention is the placement of these 3 guys. Loxodon being at the same tier as Orcane and Zetterburn is very interesting, to say the least. Marlon is a Loxodon believer, so I guess for a believer to be on the second lowest tier is accurate. But Crag being on the bottom, despite being viable, is a very interesting take. I don't know if Crag is on the same tier as Daedalus and Fleet. But I mean, he's one of the best players in the world, so he clearly sees the game differently. But this is so interesting. I think the fact that Maple is this high is also super interesting. I don't know, what do you guys think about this tier list? Does he see something that we don't, or is Marlon simply a contrarian sometimes? I don't know. Next, Symbiote Studios have released their Pom and Mala plushes. It is now finally available for purchase on their online store. So if you're collecting the Rivals of Aether plushes, or it's your first time knowing about them, you can check out their store in the description below. And real quick, I want to mention I am so close to 1,000 subscribers. It would mean the world to me if I could get there. And if you enjoyed this content and want to support me in the future, I want to ask you to please subscribe. If you go right here to the bottom, you see this big subscribe button. Go ahead and click it and bring! You get these little jingle jangles. Wow, a huge dopamine hit for you and for me. You get cool little colors and I get number go up. It is the best way to make sure that you don't miss any of the recaps. And if you want to, you can also click the all button for the bell. And I also have some really fun videos cooking up in the future that you don't want to miss. Next, we got some fun things on Twitter that isn't exactly news, but I wanted to cover. Firstly, Spargo has become the first player to reach 2300 elo. He is now more than 60 points away from the next tier, which is honestly pretty impressive, because the tier after that is only like 16 points away. This is some really cool stuff from Spargo, and I really hope that he continues to compete. Next, a little fun thing from Toma. He somehow modded a GameCube to play Rivals of Aether on CRT. I think this is just really fun vibes. And Shadowhawk says, melee players rejoice, now you have no choice. Rivals 2 is on CRT. So if you were a melee player and you're like, I don't want to play a game that's not on a CRT, well, now you can. And finally, Raven here is creating a worldwide datasheet that will contain regions, Discord links, weeklies, online events, bigger events, and character discords. So if you want a one-stop shop to see what's going on in the world of Aether, this is the place to check out. And this list is continuously building, so if you want to make sure you know what's going on in your local scene, make sure to bookmark this link. Now we're getting into the YouTube portion of the video, where I show off all the videos that you might have missed in the Rivals of Aether scene. Funny enough, we have the Rivals 2 update you totally missed by Wisely. In this video, Wisely shows off the Trials mode and goes in depth on the different trial modes, namely Target Test, Edgeguard Training, and Eye Break. I actually learned from this video that the Edgeguard Training and Eye Break modes are inspired by the Uncle Punch training mod for Slippy. But yeah, very informative. Next, Last Stock is going through the null board of patch 1.1.4. I went over this last week. If you want another opinion that's also more updated, you can check out this video. And Last Stock also did a very interesting video about should every character be top tier. They go over the idea that not all characters need to be top tier. In fact, it might be healthier for the game if all characters aren't in top tier. And they also talk about different examples from different games and what a healthy meta might look like. Really interesting discussion, so if you want to check it out, it's also in the description below. Next, we have Proof Block, who goes over Marlon's tier list. So if you want to see another player have their opinions on Marlon's tier list, this is the video for you. And actually, if you want to see Marlon go over their thoughts specifically, you can check it out in the VOD, and I'll link this video with the timestamp down below. Next, Soul Bird Guy did a video speculating on upcoming Rivals of Aether 2 skins in a sort of podcast style. So 25 minutes of Soul Bird Guy discussing what skins they believe that will come to Rivals of Aether. And it's a really fun watch if you like speculating. Next, if you want to see what it looks like climbing through an online bracket, Zeus the Goose has uploaded their entire run on YouTube. As you can see before, Zeus got second place. So this will be a very important VOD to watch, especially if you're a Crag main. And finally, we have this video from Coach Zeke, a very prolific coach in the platform fighting scene. And this video is his coaching sessions with Jorgulon and Axmos. And at the end here, which is what I'm playing right now, is how to take notes. And specifically, how to VOD review. If you want to know how to get better, Coach Zeke is the one to watch. And he goes over really in depth on what he does to make VOD reviewing more effective. And now for everyone's favorite part of the video, the Rivals of Aether Reddit recap. For one, this is the post that I was mentioning earlier from Snicky McNibbits. Let's see what the people have to say about this Q&A. Catman says, I'm glad they're not doing character-specific ranks until they know they can get it right. People complain enough about getting cooked. Wow, and this is actually on the top part of the comments. Very interesting that people are on board with not character-specific ranks. Ira the Dragon says, while I'm definitely excited by Olympia, I really enjoyed the Q&A section more. I like hearing about their views on certain things like balance and character releases a lot. I hope they continue to keep this level of transparency. It's just enough to keep you on the hook, but not too much as to divulge something that really shouldn't be divulged. That being said though, I really hope they are prioritizing character tutorials for the new ones. Whether it's through a new game mode, fingers crossed, or just the simple vids they release with the launch characters. We need something. The game needs to be more accessible to new players, and knowing how each of the casts works, new or otherwise, is really important. All in all, great stuff. I'm pumped. Let's go Olympia! And Edalus actually responds, we do have a 101 vid slated for Olympia to come out alongside her release. That's our plan going forward as well. Plus, we'll get an Edalus one out for the collection as well. So the plan is to release at least a 101 video for each character, and so hopefully we'll get the Edalus one soon, and Olympia will come out when she releases. My hot take on ranked and character-specific ranks is that ranked mode isn't and should not be the end-all of competitive play. The advantage of ranked mode is that you can play a bunch of matches and ideally find opponents of your level whenever you want and be able to roughly assess your play as you climb and fall. It is not meant to be the final destination for competitive game. There is a game mode already that features heavy emphasis on counterpicking. It's called tournaments and other events, and they're more accessible than ever with online play being as good as it is. Ranked is a good bridge to get people to that, so having it only be an approximation of online play is ideal. Having character-specific ranks better emphasizes the goal of finding opponents of your skill level and better encourages players to try out more characters. This becomes phenomenal engagement and content for the medium core crowd, as it encourages me to try new things and get better variety. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of exactly what I was saying. As a side effect, character-specific ranks also encourage players to spend more money since they now have incentive to buy and collect skins for a variety of characters, and I do want Rivals to succeed monetarily. My preference would be character-specific ranks even over the ability to change characters at all mid-set, but the Rivals 1 solution is okay too. Again, the counterpick heavy game mode exists already in the form of tournaments and events. Still, I'm glad they are willing to try things, then potentially reassess. It's better than if they were insistent that they knew best in all things always. And hey, rewards for ranked are always welcome. There needs to be some incentive to make that leap and try to play online. If more beginners do, it in turn becomes a more beginner-friendly environment. Truth or Dive Kick says, I agree on all the indirect benefits of character-based ranking. As a casual FGC member, most of my playtime in Street Fighter and Tekken is spent ranking up all the characters to some arbitrary threshold I set for myself. In Rivals, I can't do that for rankings, so I just go for level X on every character. So I guess it still exists on some level, but I'd rather not nuke my rating every time. I feel like this results in me sort of naturally smurfing when I'm leveling alts, since anytime I want to win, I could theoretically swap to my main. I also dislike being able to change characters mid-set. It feels especially disrespectful when people change characters after a win. In basically every FG rule set, your character locked after a win. I know Smash doesn't have that rule, but it's because of stages like FD being so ridiculous for certain matchups. With Rivals being a better balanced game for both characters and stages, I don't think it's necessary. Yeah, I mean, this is basically echoing what I think as well. I don't think that ranked mode needs to entirely and accurately represent how it feels to play tournament mode. I mean, the fact that it's a set already has that feeling where you have to win 2 out of 3 times. so I don't necessarily think you need to have counterpicking in front of mind. Snicky McNibbits also says, I'm torn. I'm somebody who likes to play the entire cast of a fighting game, and I feel counterpicking my opponents is a solid reward for being flexible and learning multiple characters. But I also enjoy leveling up individual characters in ranked in Grand Blue or Street Fighter 6, and I strongly dislike feeling like I have to drop some characters entirely because they're so far behind the rest of my roster. Yeah, again, I will say this over and over and over. I think Rivals 1 ranked system was the most elegant solution. If you want to be able to counterpick, you can only counterpick to a character that's worse than your current rank. That way you can't accidentally smurf, or just because you're losing, counterpick to a stronger character. The other benefit of the Rivals 1 rank system is that you have to train your secondaries to be as good as your primary in order to counterpick it in that same rank, which I think is a good idea. Like, you wouldn't even want to be counterpicking if your secondaries aren't even as good as your main, at least in my opinion. Dr. Caesar's Palace says, I just think the ability to counterpick is core to the competitive platform fighter experience, and not even having it as an option makes it significantly less interesting. I don't want entire sets to possibly feel like foregone conclusions because I chose the wrong character in matchmaking. This genre is full of matchups that are so heavily weighted towards one character that I feel like a waste of effort to even play. I guess that's the philosophy thing. I just simply disagree that some matchups are so heavily weighted. Like, even the devs have said they want to make characters that are solo viable across the cast. So I don't know. I think they just want to try out this new mode first. If people truly want counterpicking to be part of ranked, then we'll keep it. But I think the thing that the devs may be missing is that ranked mode is ironically a casual experience. Like, everybody wants to play ranked mode, even people who aren't going to tournaments. And the reality is most people are casuals. They don't care about counterpicking as an option. Most people have the main that they stick to, and they stick to it. I mean, what Jazz Hands says is true. If you are a competitive player who wants to have counterpicking, you're gonna go to tournaments. Everyone who isn't is just going to play ranked. At the very least, the seasonal resets will allow people to try new characters every season, so that's something to go on. Rano on Rano Destruction. Ooh, we love to see Rano Destruction. Bing 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 pop boom boom bing bing pop boom bop bing 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 bop boom bop bing bop bam. I'm on that type of ish you would not understand. Ooh, oh, wow, that was unnecessary, but it looked sick. Okay, so I guess you like baited a movement by going, no, but you stuck. That's crazy. You went forward and then I feel like the down smash animation actually helped you dodge the attack. That's so funny. I freaking did it. Someone finally went to Masters. Man, I wish that was me. I wish that was me with Diamond, man. Intrepid Tank says, well done. Next target, taking Spargo's Elo crown? For sure. Let's go. Congrats, especially as a Lox player. That's rough. That's what I'm saying. Oh, well, look at that. I dual main him with Zitter. I only really use Lox for certain matchups. So I guess the people do exist where they use specific characters for specific matchups. Crobley says, what made the biggest difference in improvement? VOD review, focusing on one thing at a time. And Hickama actually says, not taking ranked as seriously. Better for my mental, and if I feel better, I play better. Looking at top layer VODs and watching guides. I kind of did everything at once, but I don't recommend. Casual Crag Brain Rot. Okay, let's see some Brain Rot in action. Oh, what just happened? What did you do? You just died? Okay. Oh, they're just... Oh wait, this isn't casuals. They're just like, screwing around. What is this? Bleh, bleh. Oh? Crag dancing? The crag mating ritual? Oh, this is silly. I mean, it's moments like this that make you really appreciate a game, right? Like, this is why I really like Splatoon. It's because you can get silly with people. You can do squid parties. You can like dance around in the lobby. I mean, hey, I'm all for it. How do they fall like that? It happens when you try to taunt midair, your character will fall. Hey, more things people don't know. There's a lot of things people don't know if they're not paying attention. Okay, Dan, enough is enough. Ooh, I was really happy when you announced Olympia, but now I'm starting to get pissed off. Now I'm starting to piss off. We are still on March. I mean, why do you keep delaying the coming of April so much? What are you afraid of? I just can't with these pathetic devs anymore. If you announce something, stick with it. Don't give us hope and later disappoint us with these stupid time-stretching shenanigans. These are for cowards. Let April be already. Jesus. Really shows how disgusting the game industry is these days. One of my classmates' dad worked at Aether Studios, and he told me that he told me that Devil Dan, that's what they call him in Aether headquarters apparently, actually moved the world's clock back an hour last week to delay her even further. Even in the indie community, the devs are so greedy. Nah man, I made the clock spring ahead across all of the US except Arizona for obvious reasons, just so April could get there a bit faster. I get no respect around AE headquarters, I keep saying. This is so funny. Oh man, I'm glad Dan is still able to have some fun with the community. If it's not too much to ask, I know you are busy. Could you look into moving the clock forward about 3 weeks? Thanks, I appreciate all your hard time work. First he made February shorter, and now he's making March longer? Make up your mind, crazy Dan. If you hate Crag, there you go. Okay, oh, so they have the shine mod on? Blink, blink, blink. You know what's really funny about this? About the hate Crag? Is that you're Zetterburn. I don't think Zetterburn is a character to play if you want to be on the hate Crag train. Joke's on you, I hate both Crag and Zetter. Top of the list, that's what I'm saying, bro. I swear, they all do that Hail Mary F smash right after getting KO'd, and it somehow works. It's true. When you die, you come in, you just F smash? I would've got hit. I would've got hit by that. I think I hate Zetter more after this last match. Sorry, I hate Zetter more. At least Crag is fun to juggle. I'm really sorry, Middle Bathroom. I'm really sorry that you posted this trying to get some likes, but people hate Zetter. That's what I'm saying. I've been a Zetter hater since day one. But apparently Zetter is well balanced. I don't know. But I've been a Zetter hater since day one, and sorry to say that seeing a Zetter do well, I'd rather see Crag do well. For the Crag haters too. He tried it again? Wow, that's brave. That's really funny. Let's see it happen. Okay, tech chase, cute, fair. A shine. Oh my god, the offstage shenanigans is a lot of fun. I won't lie. Ooh. Okay, it's cute. It's cute. I'm not gonna lie, it's cute. Okay, I think the Crag could have done something there, but again, you are a Zetter main, so tips and tricks for facing Maple Edition. Okay, let's see what my tip: always parry Lily when you get the chance. It's very easy. I guess that's that is true. It's a good tip. Bro, how do I hit this little effing rat? She just ducks over everything. First of all, she's a raccoon. Second of all, honestly, shielding helps a lot. Shielding helps a lot. As a Maple main, I'll also mention here that sometimes I'll throw out Lily after my opponent dies, so they will run over it to parry. This often gives me time to think and position myself better on stage, and the invulnerability, the parry doesn't last very long. Additionally, sometimes I can delay Lily attack by throwing seeds onto Lily, causing the parry to miss if this isn't timed right. All this to say, sometimes it might be worth deciding how much of a threat Lily is in some cases, or in some stages before committing to that option. Good to know, good to know. CC everything, dash attack is floor huggable, -1 million on shield, and very baitable. Yeah, dash attack is honestly, it sets up if it hits, but defensively it's really bad. Hold up at the end of tether up air, you'll fall out the last hit. At that point you'll have to deal with tether nair mix up, but your chances of survival are much higher. Yeah, you actually can just hold up and dodge the up air. And if they do start nairing a bunch, you have to hold down and away, I believe. Look at that, people coming together to discuss how to face Maple. Is the game doing okay? Only had 180 players last night. Dog, I was sleeping. I don't know why that got me. 180 players was at 4 a.m. Yeah, bro. When are you playing? Yeah, I mean, look, when people are sleeping, it's gonna be low. I don't have any issues finding matches. We are still in baby game stage of development, and Rivals 2 just went on Steam sale. The players will come. It's true. It's true. I always point to Rivals 1 Steam chart numbers and how much the floor raised later in the game's life. Don't stress. As someone said a while back, looking at Steam charts is a mental illness, which is just to say, don't look at it every day. Just play the game. Yeah, you really... I don't even, like, look... It's crazy that people pay attention to Steam charts. Like, I just be playing. I think it makes sense if you're in regions that don't have a lot of people playing, and so you're like, what's going on? But otherwise, hey, just play the game. Is there a universal way to counter floor hugging? I've been playing the game since launch and got used to crouch canceling and climbed up to diamond, but I still can't figure out a way to consistently counter crouch cancel. I think you mean floor hugging. Is there a simple counter mechanic that I'm missing, or is there a rock, paper, scissors mechanic like in grab beats shield, shield beats jab, and jab beats grab? Is there something that always beats crouch canceling? I think it's funny because you put floor hugging on top and say that you're used to crouch canceling. I think you mean floor hugging. or I just keep fighting around it. Some players play extremely defensively, holding shield, waiting for me to attack to try to grab so they can hold down tilt on me. I usually just play with more aerials and mix-ups in scenarios like that, but still feels kinda weird sometimes being punished for hitting someone. I got it mixed up, I'm talking about crouch canceling, not floor hugging. Oh, so you do mean crouch canceling. Oh. What? Okay, I'm confused, but how do you deal with crouch canceling? Spiking and grabbing, number 1. Usually spiking works for me. As said, grabbing gets beat by down tilt or jab. What? Well, okay, so I guess if someone's spamming down tilt, they automatically crouch cancel? The thing is, if they're trying to crouch cancel, they are waiting to get hit, so you can't just grab it. It's not the grab that's being beat by the down tilt, it's your approach being beat by down tilt. Or jab, does that make sense? If you see you're getting stuffed out by a hitbox when you try to grab them, you need to whiff punish with a grab. Dash back and go back in. It sounds like you're just running at them expecting grab to be the definitive answer, but you gotta remember they also have counterplay. I mean, I already do that, but I mean, why would I do all that just to land a grab if I could just standing holding down, waiting to get hit to punish them? Trying to find something as easy as crouch canceling to beat it. Feels like there's something that I'm missing. Floor hug isn't just holding down, there's literally timing down, hold. Okay. I think they edited a bunch of this, making this conversation really confusing. The problem is people don't know the difference between crouch canceling and floor hugging. So real simple, this is from the LP video, but there's a quick explanation of the differences between these two mechanics.
Crouch canceling happens when you are holding down and crouching and then get hit by a move. This allows you to hit the opponent when they hit you. ASDI down or floor hugging is what happens when you get hit and then hold down while in hit lag, so that you basically hug the floor instead of getting launched. This is essentially powered up by pressing the shield button when your character hits the floor so that you could tech. This is called an OMS attack. Now you are all caught up. See?
Woo! Yeah, so like floor hugging is a way to survive strong hits, and crouch canceling and as a defensive option to punish aggression. I think the problem is that these mechanics are simply just not intuitive. That's really the main problem. I feel like they aren't, I mean, I've been playing a long time now and they don't seem like as big of a problem as it used to be. This one's really funny. Can we get a I need to piss or I'm drunk chat option? I would like to both communicate effectively and John sufficiently with my opponents. A very eloquent response to this title. Can we get a I'm baked as F option? Also a let me take my Adderall just for Zetters. Oh yeah, this is really funny. Nature calls would be awesome. Would also fit really well. And would keep the game family friendly. That's the most important part. And it would be maybe it'll be an emote for the Risa Savannas. Yeah, that would be really cute. Nature calls. They will never do an I'm drunk, but something like I'm feeling dizzy would be wonderful and could work for many types of substance consumptions. I'm seeing double or cross-eyed fours. Ooh, I'm seeing doubles is really good. Oh, this is really nice. I suck, but I love Rivals too. I've been playing this game since launch and maybe 200 hours and I'm hard stuck silver. I play Rano and I love playing the game even though I'm bad. I'm usually someone who will quit if I don't feel myself getting better at the game, but even losing this game I have a good time, so W to the devs. Woohoo, let's go. Yo, let's play sometimes, bro. I am too, don't worry. I've just told myself not to take the game so seriously. After all, I am an Arcane main. Arcane isn't bad though. Think he has some pretty miserable matchups being Claren at any skill level, a decent Maple or a Rano, but he is fun. I mean, yeah, here's the thing. As much as there are loud haters, there are also loud lovers. People love this game. Okay, so that's about all the time I have for this video. Thank you guys again for watching. Remember to keep playing Rivals. Keep an eye out because I'm going to be posting some new fun videos. So subscribe so you don't miss it, and I'll see you guys next time.